Before the first European sail ever cut through the waves, before any map carried the word America, before the very concept of a new world entered European imagination, this land was already awake. It was not waiting to be found. It was not silent or vacant. It was alive, breathing with the footsteps, fires, and memories of people who had been here for thousands upon thousands of years. Picture the Earth wrapped in the deepest cold of the last glacial maximum. Around 20 to 25,000 years ago, ice sheets miles thick covered much of the north. They imprisoned so much water that the oceans shrank and sea levels dropped by hundreds of feet. A wide bridge of land rose from the sea between northeastern Siberia and Alaska. We call it Beringia today, not a narrow, treacherous path, but a vast steppe landscape hundreds of miles across, covered in grasses, wildflowers, and low shrubs. Mammoths, steppe bison, horses, caribou, and smaller game moved through it. Rivers flowed, fish filled the streams, and berries ripened in season. It was harsh, yes, but it was livable. Small family groups from Asia, grandparents, parents, children, began crossing this corridor. They were not famous explorers racing toward glory. They were ordinary people, following the animals they hunted, searching for better shelter, escaping drought or cold on one side or the other. They wore sewn hides, carried baskets, used spears tipped with carefully shaped stone points, and kept small fires burning against the wind. They told stories at night, stories of creation, of animals that spoke, of stars that guided them. These tales were carried forward generation after generation. The movement was slow. Decades became centuries. Some groups hugged the Pacific coast in boats made of animal skins stretched over frames, living on seals, whales, salmon, and shellfish. Others walked through ice-free corridors that eventually opened as the glaciers retreated. By around 13,000 years ago, we find the distinctive fluted spear points of the Clovis culture scattered from New Mexico to Nova Scotia. But footprints preserved in the mud of White Sands National Park in New Mexico have been dated to at least 23,000 years ago, and stone tools in caves in Mexico go back even further. The first arrivals were earlier than we once thought, possibly 30,000 years ago or more. When the climate warmed and the great melt began, rising seas flooded back over Beringia, cutting the continent off from Asia. By then, the continent was already thickly settled. Descendants of those early migrants had spread into every corner, from Arctic tundra to tropical forests, from desert plateaus to lush river valleys. They had become dozens, then hundreds of distinct peoples. America was never empty. Long before any ship from Europe appeared on the horizon, this land supported complex, thriving societies. In the dry southwest, the ancestral Puebloans constructed multi-story cliff dwellings at places like Mesa Verde and Chaco Canyon. They built roads, dug ceremonial kivas deep into the earth, and created sophisticated irrigation systems that brought water miles across arid land to fields of maize, beans, and squash. In the wide floodplain of the Mississippi and its tributaries, the city we now call Cahokia grew into a major center around 1000 CE. Its earthen mounds, some rising 100 feet, supported temples, elite residences, and plazas where thousands gathered for games, feasts, and astronomical observations. At its height, Cahokia may have housed 20,000 people, larger than many European cities of the same era. In the forests of the northeast, the Haudenosaunee, known to Europeans as the Iroquois, formed a powerful confederacy of originally 5, later 6 nations. Their great law of peace, passed down orally, created a council system based on consensus. A great white pine symbolized unity. Its branches sheltered the people. Its roots extended in 4 directions, inviting others to join. This constitution influenced political thinkers centuries later. Across the Great Plains, nomadic and semi-nomadic groups followed enormous buffalo herds. After horses arrived with the Spanish, these ways of life became even more mobile and efficient. On the Pacific Northwest coast, abundant salmon runs supported settled villages where people raised towering cedar totem poles that told family histories and spiritual truths going back generations. In California, diverse communities managed oak groves, burned landscapes to encourage acorn production, and traded shells, obsidian, and feathers across long distances. The Three Sisters agricultural system, maize, beans, and squash grown together, spread from Mesoamerica northward and sustained large populations in the eastern woodlands and beyond. Extensive trade networks linked distant regions. Copper from the Great Lakes reached the Gulf of Mexico. Marine shells traveled inland. Turquoise moved from the southwest to the coast. Ideas, songs, ceremonies, and technologies traveled these same routes. Land was understood as a living relative, sacred, generous, deserving of respect. Rituals renewed the bond between people and place. The world was not something to conquer or own. It was something to care for, to listen to live within. Then in 1492, the balance shifted forever. A mariner from Genoa named Christopher Columbus, sailing under the Spanish flag, crossed the Atlantic believing he had found a western route to Asia. Instead, he reached islands in the Caribbean, already home to the Taino people, skilled farmers, fishers, canoe builders, and storytellers living in orderly villages. Columbus claimed the land for Spain. What followed was not discovery. It was the beginning of sustained, often violent contact between 2 previously separate worlds. Spain moved quickly. Armies, missionaries, and settlers arrived. Hernán Cortés, with only a few hundred Europeans, but thousands of indigenous allies angry at Aztec domination, overthrew the Mexica capital of Tenochtitlan in 1521. Francisco Pizarro captured and executed the Inca ruler Atahualpa after extracting a ransom of gold and silver that filled entire rooms. The encomienda system bound indigenous labor to Spanish estates and brutal silver mines. Priests built missions to convert souls, but old-world diseases arrived faster than soldiers. Smallpox, measles, influenza, and other infections swept through populations with no prior exposure. In some regions, 9 out of 10 people perished within a single lifetime. Entire communities disappeared. Knowledge held only in the memories of elders was lost forever. From an estimated 50 to 100 million people across the Americas before 1492, populations fell to a small fraction by the mid-17th century. The scale of this loss is almost impossible to grasp. France entered mainly through the fur trade, building alliances with Huron, Algonquin, and other nations along the St. Lawrence and Mississippi rivers. Trading posts grew into small settlements like Quebec.
The Dutch focused on commerce, establishing New Amsterdam on Manhattan as a busy port open to many nationalities. But England pursued something different: permanent settlement. English families crossed the ocean seeking land, religious freedom, or economic opportunity. They founded Jamestown in 1607 and Plymouth in 1620, and over the next century these grew into 13 distinct colonies, strung along the Atlantic seaboard from New Hampshire in the north to Georgia in the south. These colonies are grouped into 3 regions, each with its own character shaped by geography, climate, religion, and economy. In the north lay the New England colonies, Massachusetts, including what became Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Rocky soil and long cold winters limited large-scale farming, so settlers turned to fishing, whaling, shipbuilding, timber, and small family farms growing corn, wheat, and livestock. Puritan influence was strong. Communities built around town meetings, churches, and education, with Harvard College founded as early as 1636. South of New England were the Middle Colonies: New York, formerly Dutch New Netherland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. These had more fertile soil and milder climates, supporting mixed agriculture, wheat, grains, and dairy. Major ports like Philadelphia and New York City became hubs of trade. Religious and ethnic diversity flourished here. Quakers under William Penn promoted tolerance in Pennsylvania, attracting Germans, Scots-Irish, Dutch, and others seeking freedom from persecution. Further south stretched the southern colonies: Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Warm weather, long growing seasons, and rich coastal plains favored large-scale plantation agriculture. Tobacco dominated in Virginia and Maryland. Rice and indigo thrived in South Carolina and Georgia. These cash crops required intensive labor, leading to heavy reliance on enslaved Africans brought in chains beginning in 1619. Social structures hardened into hierarchies of wealthy planters, small farmers, and the enslaved. Across all 13 colonies, land hunger drove expansion and conflict. Europeans viewed land as private property to survey, own, and sell. Indigenous nations saw it as communal and sacred. Treaties were signed and broken. Wars erupted: Pequot War in 1637, King Philip's War in 1675, 1676, and many more, resulting in displacement, loss, and resistance. At the same time, Enlightenment ideas about natural rights, liberty, and government by consent spread among colonists. Heavy taxes from a distant parliament, laws without representation, and limits on Western settlement fueled growing unrest. By the 1770s, these grievances were uniting the colonies in common cause. Yet the deeper truth remains. America was not born in 1776. It was not discovered in 1492. It did not begin when Europeans arrived. It began with those ancient crossings through cold and wind. It began with families who learned every river, mountain, and plain. It began with nations that built cities, wrote laws in wampum and song, and cared for the land as kin. History is not a straight line drawn by one people. It is layers of stories overlapping, folding into one another. Some voices were silenced, but they were never erased. To understand this place we call America, we must listen, really listen to the voices that were here first and that are still here. America has always been here.